Have you ever wondered how some people seem calm in the head while everyone else feels rushed? Like they found a quiet advantage that the world never talks about. You wake up and immediately feel the noise of life. The messages, the pressure, the speed, and you assume that's just what mornings are. But there is a different kind of morning. A morning that feels like space, and space is where clarity and power are born. This is the story of Noah, a man who didn't become stronger by doing louder things, but by practicing one quiet habit before anyone else woke up. Noah wasn't famous, and he wasn't special, because most people who change their lives aren't special. They're consistent, and consistency is usually silent. He lived a normal life, worked a normal job, carried normal stress, yet inside he had a feeling that his days were slipping away too fast. He didn't feel like he was failing, but he did feel like he was always reacting, as if the world decided his pace, and he simply tried to keep up. He tried the usual solutions, waking up early, chasing productivity, doing intense routines, but those methods often made him feel like he was fighting himself. The problem wasn't effort. The problem was how noisy his mind was, because a noisy mind turns every day into a struggle. Noah realized something painful. He was spending most of his life consuming other people's energy before he built his own. He woke up and immediately entered other people's worlds through screens, news, messages, and comparison. And by breakfast, his attention was already gone. That meant his day started with loss, and you can't build a strong life when you start every day losing your attention. One night, after a long day that felt like it went nowhere, Noah sat in his kitchen and listened to the refrigerator hum in the silence. He noticed how rare silence had become, and that realization made him feel both peaceful and sad at the same time. He remembered being a child, waking up early on weekends when the house was quiet and the world felt slow and safe. Back then, mornings felt like possibility, not pressure, and he wondered when he stopped feeling that. That night, Noah made a decision that sounded simple but felt serious. Tomorrow, I will wake up before the world does, not to work harder, but to breathe first. He didn't plan a huge routine, because huge routines break under real life, and he was tired of starting and quitting. He planned one habit, one quiet practice that could survive, even when he was tired, busy, or unmotivated. He called it the silent hour, even though it wasn't always an hour, because the name reminded him of the point. The point was not time. The point was silence, because silence is where you meet yourself again. He set his alarm 30 minutes earlier than usual, not extreme, not heroic, just enough to create a gap before the world arrived. When the alarm rang, Noah's first instinct was to hit snooze, because the body hates change, even when change is good. He lay there listening to the darkness, feeling the temptation to return to comfort, and he realized this was the first battle of the day. Not a battle against work, not a battle against people, but a battle against the version of himself that wanted to stay asleep. Noah stood up anyway, not fast, not dramatic, just quietly, as if he didn't want to wake the old habits in his mind. He walked to the kitchen and poured a glass of water, and the water felt like a reset button for his body. He didn't turn on the TV, didn't open social media, didn't check messages, because the first rule of the silent habit was no input. No input means no other voices, no opinions, no emergencies, no comparisons, no news, no pressure. Because when you start the day with input, you start the day with reaction, and Noah wanted something else. He sat down at a small table with a notebook and a pen, and he noticed his mind felt restless, like it didn't know what to do without noise. That restlessness was the evidence, the proof that his attention had been trained to avoid stillness. So Noah did the first part of the habit. 5 minutes of slow breathing, long exhale, short inhale, like he was telling his nervous system it was safe. At first, it felt pointless, because calm doesn't feel productive, and people who are anxious often confuse calm with laziness. But Noah stayed with the breath, and after a few minutes, the noise inside his mind soft enough for him to hear what he actually felt. Then he did the second part. 1 page of writing, not churling about everything, just 1 page answering one question. The question was simple. What matters today and what doesn't? Noah wrote slowly because speed would turn writing into another performance, and performance was what he was trying to escape. He wrote 1 priority, 1 thing that would move his life forward, not 10 tasks, not a list, 1 direction. Then he did the third part of the habit, 1 act of preparation, something quiet that would make the day easier. Sometimes it was laying out clothes, sometimes it was preparing coffee, sometimes it was organizing a desk, and the act felt small but powerful. Because preparation is a form of respect for your future self, and respect builds self-trust. After those 3 parts, Noah didn't feel like a superhero, but he felt centered, like his mind had a home base. And that was the first time in months he started a day without feeling behind. When the world began to wake up, Noah noticed the difference immediately. The messages arrived, the noise arrived, but his mind didn't collapse. He went to work and felt calmer, not because work became easy, but because he had already met himself before meeting the world. On day 2, it was harder, because the novelty was gone and the old habits returned with confidence. He wanted to check his phone, wanted to fill the silence, wanted to return to stimulation, but he remembered why he started. He remembered that every morning you practice something. Either you practice noise or you practice presence. So he practiced presence again, breath, 1 page, 1 preparation. By the end of the first week, Noah noticed something surprising. His days felt longer, not in hours, but in meaning. He realized time doesn't feel scarce when you stop wasting the first part of it in reaction. He also noticed he was less irritated with people, because irritation often comes from carrying stress you never processed. The silent habit gave him a place to process, a small private room inside his mind. In week 2, Noah began to see the deeper effect. He was building self-respect. Not the loud kind of confidence, but the quiet confidence that comes from keeping promises to yourself. He realized the world is loud, and loudness always tries to control you. But silence is where you take control back. He started saying no to unnecessary distractions, not because he became strict, but because he became protective of his attention. And the more he protected his mornings, the more he protected his life, because your attention is your life. Noah noticed he made better decisions, because decisions are easier when your mind isn't flooded. He noticed he ate better, spoke better, worked better, not through force, but through clarity. Week 3 arrived, and the silent habit began to feel like identity, like this is who I am now, the kind of person who begins with intention. Noah still had hard days, still felt tired, still felt heavy sometimes, because the habit doesn't remove life's difficulty. But the habit changed his posture toward difficulty, because he stopped meeting difficulty in panic. He began meeting difficulty after breath, after clarity, after preparation, and that sequence made him stronger. One morning, Noah woke up and realized something simple. The world didn't know he had changed, but he knew. And that knowledge was powerful, because it meant his strength wasn't dependent on validation. He understood that the silent habit wasn't about waking up early. It was about waking up before the world's noise entered his mind. Because most people start the day being invaded by other people's priorities. Noah started the day owning his priorities, and ownership creates peace. By day 30, Noah looked back and realized he had been searching for a big breakthrough when the real breakthrough was quiet. It was 30 minutes of silence that slowly rewired his mind away from reaction and toward leadership. He realized discipline doesn't have to be loud. It can be gentle, steady, and silent. And that silence became his advantage, because while others started in chaos, he started in control. So if you want to change your life, don't only chase louder motivation, build a quieter foundation. Tomorrow, wake up 30 minutes earlier and protect that time like it is sacred. No phone, no noise, no input, just breath. one page of clarity and one act of preparation. Do it for 7 days and notice what changes, not just in your schedule, but in your identity. Because your mornings are not just mornings, they are training, and whatever you train becomes your life. And remember this, quietly and clearly, the way Noah learned it before anyone else woke up. Every story reshapes your mindset, and every morning is a chance to begin with yourself.